Hi, I'm back again. I exercised, shower, had to run to the store because I didn't realize I was low on cleaning supplies. But I'm here now. I'm going to read The Power of Now first so you can understand the concept if you don't already. I don't know what you know and don't know while you're watching this. Okay, the word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simple, your natural state of felt oneness with being. It is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being. It is a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that, almost paradoxically, is essentially you, and yet is much greater than you. It is finding your true nature beyond name and form. The inability to feel this connectedness gives rise to the illusion of separation from yourself, from the world around you. You then perceive yourself consciously and unconsciously as an isolated fragment. Fear arises and conflict within and without becomes the new norm. Being is the eternal, ever-present one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. However, being is not only beyond, but also deep within every form at its invisible and indestructible essence. This means that it is also accessible to you now as your own deep self and your true nature. You don't seek to grasp it with your mind. You don't try to understand it. You can know it only when the mind is still, when you are present, when your attention is fully and intensely on the now. Being can be felt, and it can never be mentally understood. To regain awareness of being and to abide in that state of feeling realization is enlightenment. Also in this book, because I'm not going to read the whole book to you, he talks about the moment that you are aware of thinking. Ask yourself, oh, I wonder what next thought will come. There will be a pause, right? That space in between the thought, you asking yourself, and the next thought. That space is what you're expanding. That space is what I like to expand the spaces, but you being present in that moment, because I don't even try to expand the spaces, anymore. I just sit with myself in that presence. And I know I will go live eventually. That's what I want to do. I want to do the things that I get to do while live, but also just have that presence. Just be there. Because presence is often overlooked. I have a lot of experiences with people not just saying anything, but like their presence. Just them being there. And I have given that a lot to my cousin, because if you see me like this, chances are, if you see me in public, if you ever come across me, like, I am still very quiet. I'm still never the center of attention. I don't like to be. I like to observe. I like to remain present without thought and without judging, what's going on around me, just enjoying the moment. Unless someone wants advice and stuff like that, because I'm just the go-to person apparently for advice. Even strangers come up to me and dish out like their issues, and of course I don't tell them to like go away, but I found that odd. But like people that are older than me having this, I mean, sometimes it was people older than me, other times, the age varies, but I was very surprised when like people older than me would have deep conversations with me and ask for my advice. And I know age is really just a number, because I've always been an old soul, so I don't know if they were just feeling that or what, but you get to see a different side of me that not a whole lot of people sees, because I am very quiet and reserved. So you do see the side of me that can be talkative, that does share things. But I want you to understand like the concept of presence, the awareness that people put, that they try to describe. The you behind your eyes, not your thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. Right. There was also something else that I wanted to read. Give me a moment while and if you haven't noticed, I do pause a lot before I speak, because there's a lot of things that might get me censored on YouTube, and I'm very cautious about that, and I don't want people to take things the wrong way. Because if you've seen any of my other videos, like I do talk about, I mean, I haven't gotten into like the dark stuff. Trying to keep it PG-13 at least, not go into all of that. And I probably will, but like, I know some things would get censored if I was having no filter. Right? So I do think before I speak, and then I try to pinpoint like what word will be most receptive, like you understand it easily, because I can use fancy words. They're in my vocabulary. I love reading the dictionary. I love looking up words, and I have a dictionary, not just on my phone. I like the paper. But you can see, when you read my book, you can get the full spectrum of vocabulary, okay? I think I did a very great job at, there's two different perceptions, and the vocabulary changes with both of them, because it's two different personalities, so of course. Like I said, it's very deep. It's very deep. And you can reread it and still pick up on things. Identification with your mind, which causes thought to become compulsive. That is the greatest obstacle to experiencing this reality. Not being able to stop thinking is a dreadful affliction. But we don't realize this because almost everybody is suffering from it. So it's considered normal. This mental noise prevents you from finding that realm of inner stillness that is inseparable from being. It also creates a false mind-made self that casts a shadow of fear and suffering. And he says, we'll go into that later. Enlightenment is a state of wholeness, of being at one and therefore at peace. At one with life in its manifested form, the world, as well as with your deepest self and life unmanifested, the physical and the non-physical. Identification with your mind creates concepts, labels, images, words, judgments, and definitions that blocks all true relationships. It comes between you and yourself, between you and your fellow man and woman, between you and nature, between you and God. It is thought that creates the illusion of separateness, an illusion there is a you and a totally separate other. You then forget the essential fact that underneath the level of physical appearances and separate forms, you are one with all that is. By forget, I mean that you can no longer feel this oneness as self-evident reality. You may believe it to be true, but you no longer know it to be true. Thinking has become a disease. Disease happens when things get out of balance. The mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. To put it more accurately, it's not so much that you use your mind wrongly. You usually don't use it at all. It uses you. This is the disease. You believe that you are your mind. This is the delusion. The instrument has taken you over. In this book, R.J. Spina, he calls it a parasite, the ego. But let me see. Okay, so I will read that to you. Timeless truth 2. We are sentience given a body of energy that exists within and beyond space-time concurrently. You are sentience, divine intelligence that externally existed well before humanity was created and will exist well after humanity has completed its existence. You, the I Am, are unconditional love and timeless wisdoms whose subsets are talents and abilities that are given energy to create, utilizing your imagination, the true mind of God. You, sentience given energy to create, are all aspects of your higher self, your totality. You are an aspect of your higher self, and your higher self is a direct fractal of God. That's why my name is I'm a Fractal, by the way. Yes. And fractals make up everything. I didn't want my ego to get too big, because that was one of my issues in the past, is being very prideful. But that's another subject for a different day. Your higher self, or totality, exists well beyond space and time, and you are an aspect / projection of your higher self that concurrently exists here within space time. You are the part of your higher self that is having a temporary, low-frequency human experience. You, as the I Am, are experiencing the temporal confines of a body, the temporary confines of body consciousness within space-time, while concurrently your higher self lives and resides well beyond and outside of space-time. You are your higher self, just in less volume, and it is you. You are here now, and the rest of you, your higher self, is outside space-time now and concurrently. And he gives you an exercise. So I'm going to read the exercise. Recognize awareness within and beyond time. Stop thinking. Meditate using any of my instantaneous meditation techniques. Realize that in full presence, complete beingness, here and now, that you are always aware of your unsullied awareness. That is the concurrent within space-time and outside of it all at once. The little you is the bigger you, and vice versa. Fall in love with this knowingness and live this way. Transcending the logic. No thought in and of itself has any weight. Every thought is equal in weightlessness. It is your belief in the authenticity of the thought and your identification to it that gives it sway and power over your consciousness and your body of energy. Life itself is a blank canvas for the immortal creator within all of us to create. Nothing has any inherent meaning, and it doesn't mean anything that it doesn't mean anything. The question becomes, I did read that right, by the way. The question becomes, what meaning are you going to ascribe to it? That is tempting for the grasping mind. In one of his books, R.J. Spina. Because I read him first. I just like read The Power of Now this past year, I think. Perhaps not. I don't know. Okay. In one of his books, he says, tell your thoughts, I don't know, I don't care. Oh well. And I like to tell myself, like, when my thoughts are like trying to stress about something, you know, and I'm not trying to stress about anything, I will use like, I don't know, I don't care. My favorite one is, it will resolve itself, or solutions will find me. Like, it's taken care of. There's no need for me to stress. And this one, actually, allowing is standing back and trusting God to set things into place, trusting that when something is required of you, your manager, your like higher self, your spirits and your guides, not your spirits, but your guides in spirit form. When something is required of you, your manager will bring it to your attention. When another decision is needed from you, you will become aware of it. You are creating your life visionary, not actionary. Action is fun, inspired action. That's from Ask and It Is Given, this book. And yes, I do, that's not, hold on. I do love to read Ask and It Is Given. She has a lot of techniques to help your logic mind work through things and help you be in the vortex, in the high vibration, so your desires can come to you. Yes, that's my food that I probably won't get to right now because I'm doing this. Okay, I'm gonna have to put those back in a second. Okay, so now that you understand ego, and R.J. Spina made the point that all thinking comes from ego, and thinking, allowing your thoughts to run rampant, that is the issue. But consciously selecting thoughts like, I don't know, I don't care, the solution will find me, that's essentially programming that into your mind. And sometimes I'll have to have that on repeat too, because my mind is so strong, right? But I know I can control my mind. I'm stronger than my mind. But my ego is very strong, okay? Yes. So that's why I wanted you to read that to you so you understand that before I go on to the point of categorizing, comparing, judging, adding a label to things, being cautious but not in like a scared way, but being aware of what you're labeling, what you're judging. Because once you put a label onto something, you are giving it a definition, you're giving it a form. you're giving it meaning. So, and that's how you can automatically fill your cup up in that state of awareness and drawing energy into your body. But I guess that's going to be in my next video. But that's what irks me that I was talking about earlier today. Because people are like, I'm better than that. I have high standards. I'm enlightened, but it's coming from an ego place. It's coming from that place of judging others. I can tell when someone's in their ego, and I don't judge them for it. I understand it. And I give them grace because I understand it. Sometimes I'm there too. You can have, obviously you can have preferences, right? Like a lot of people, I used this example in one of my previous videos, but a lot of people like to have the high class, you have to reserve a fucking spot months in advance, rooftop dinner, right? I've already experienced that. And to me, I like camping. I don't know why that just came to my mind, but I prefer like a picnic in the park over a rooftop. Because I would rather see nature. I don't want to see city lights. And that's my preference, right? So, high standards is a preference. But judging someone because they don't have it, seeing someone as low class because they don't have shit, saying that you're better than someone because they haven't figured out how to break out of their cycles, their patterns, their ego, like that's what irks the fuck out of me. Like my ego and my soul, it don't sit right with me. And I know where it's coming from. And I don't hate people that do that. I would just love to see people being more aware of when they are doing that and not fucking do it, you know? Some of the best people I've met were, you know, when I met them, are crazy people, are outcasts that society has deemed crazy and misfits, and society wants to cast them aside, like schizophrenics, because I love schizophrenia. And a lot of men become homeless due to their schizophrenia, or their, you know, aggression gets them locked up in mental institutions. I used to work a job, and I was in an all-men's unit when I was younger. And I loved it. I loved interacting with them. I love crazy people. And I don't judge them for that. I also don't judge alcoholics and addicts. Like, I understand. Yes, you should be conscious of how much time you're spending when you have other shit to do, right? But what if Jesus did that, right? What if Jesus was just like, hey, I'm gonna go chill with all these priests and fuck y'all. That's beneath me. Prostitution? No thanks. I'm better than that. Which obviously he didn't. I mean, I don't know if he used prostitutes because I wasn't there, but in the Bible he didn't, you know? But I mean, he hung out where people who were down and out, he hung out with them. And he still maintained his high frequency, his high vibration. And of course, when the woman touched like a piece of his clothing and he was like, you know, turned and was like, I felt that. Obviously, you can feel when your energy is draining. But there are techniques for you to refill your cup. People are only like, oh no, I stay away from them, they're toxic. Which I understand, like abusive relationships obviously don't stick around, but someone in my family is in an abusive relationship and she sticks around. And I love the shit out of her, and I don't judge her for it. And it's the choices that she's made with her life. But yes, you can still maintain a high vibration and be around low vibrational people. I've done it. I'll continue to do it. And your energy alone can heal someone. Especially when you are present with them. There's that presence that we're going back to. Being present with them. Because a lot of my close relationships that I've had, because I was never close to anyone really as a child, but one of my stepdads, he just sat with me after work. We would watch Seventh Heaven and he gave me that presence. He didn't talk to me, he didn't try to explain things to me, you know, because there was some shit going on, and he didn't explain shit. He just sat with me. And we watched Seventh Heaven together because that's the show that he wanted to watch. But that was him being there for me. And I gave the same presence, just you sitting with someone, presence, without really talking. Me and my cousin give that a lot to each other. Like she didn't really reciprocate. But whenever we were kids, I just kept trying to talk to her. She was the only person that I actually tried to talk to. And she like just dismissed me. And it's fine because I understand. Like even as a child, I understood. But I still kept at it, and now we have like the greatest friendship and relationship. She's my cousin, but she's more than a cousin to me. And sometimes we just call each other just to hang out, yes, but chill with each other. Just have that presence, right? One of my friends in high school, who I would love to find again, but every time I ask anyone in my high school about him, they have no idea who I'm talking about. He was a loner. He was to himself a lot. And I sat beside him because I knew that he was a loner and that he wouldn't talk with me. He wouldn't have a long, drawn-out conversation. I didn't want that at the time. I didn't want someone to talk to me. He left me alone and I left him alone. Sometimes, as time went on, we would talk to each other. But it was never a long, drawn-out conversation. And it was a great friendship. Because we just sat next to each other, left each other alone, but were present. And when we did talk, you know, it was funny. We just gave each other a laugh. And I want to find him again because I want to see, like, what he's doing in life, and hopefully, like, he's still alive. And I know I can use my connectedness, the energetic connection to everyone and everything, to locate him. But I don't pry on people like that. I figured if it's meant to, like, be, it'll happen again. Not like we didn't have an intimate relationship like that, but it was just like, I want to know how he's doing. I want to know, do you need anything? Because he was quiet, but I just want to make sure he's straight. He's good. He's alive, you know? I don't know. Everyone that I've talked to, like, don't even recall him. And it's sad because he was a great person. And hopefully he's still alive because he's a great person. So. And I know there's someone that you can just sit with and just be present with. I know a lot of people don't know how to refill their cup up instantly. But instead of shitting on each other, I feel like we should be learning these techniques. I mean, I know them, but, you know, instead of judging others, this is what we should do instead, you know? Be there for them. Because you never know what someone's going through. And you never know what your smile or what your presence will do for someone. How healing that actually is, and how when people don't have anything, like they perceive that they don't have anything and they're in that dark spot, they're like minutes or days away from offing themselves. Your smile, your presence, your conversation with them can change that. We are powerful. And there's a lot of systems in place that we can change. And that's a part of my dream. And I'm not going to talk about what, like, my major dream is, because it's one of those where you can't talk about it. You have to demonstrate it very publicly and have things in place so you're not gonna get caught, type of things. And I have have that all figured out. It's just getting there. And there's a few people I know I'm gonna meet along the way to help concrete the idea. Like, there's things that I don't know 100%, but it's like I will figure it out when I'm there. But I'm always keeping my eyes and ears open. I'm always aware of when someone mentions the subject or a subject close to the subject, right? Because I don't want to say anything. Like I said, it's something that I'm going to have to work behind the scenes and do, and then it will be made public, brought to society, right? Because I don't need to if you can't tell already, like I don't care about fame. I don't care to look good for the camera. Like, I like my natural beauty. I don't care to I didn't even blow dry my hair, you know? Why would I blow dry my hair? I'm not going to an event. Why would I put a face full of makeup on? I have shit to do at home. That's not authenticity. That's not me doing that just to record a video. That's not being authentic to who I am. I don't like a face full of makeup. And I never have. But that's a lot of like the masculine energy that I have. And I don't care. I don't care. The people that are drawn to this should be drawn to what I say and not my appearance. You can judge me all you want to on how I look and how I present myself and my hair and my clothing, whatever. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I understand it. People are programmed to judge others and label them as soon as they meet them. The few seconds of interacting with someone. Appearances matter. That type of shit. But I know what you do behind closed doors matters a lot, and it seeps through your energy and your appearances anyways. It's just a lot of people don't know how to read that. Good or negative, it doesn't, I wasn't gonna, it's both ways. The good shit, the bad shit, you know, it seeps through. But yes, I know this helped. I know I stare out the window, I'm looking at all the trees, but it helps me think. And I also have pictures going on in my mind on certain subjects. And by the way, if you don't know, because a lot of people take spiritual classes and want to open their third eye and this and that and the third, read a book. When you imagine things, like what as you're reading, that's using your third eye. And you receiving images in your mind, that's clairvoyance? Like, people already have psychic abilities. People are already magic. We have just been conditioned to think and believe otherwise. So I know this helped. I have my schoolwork I have to do, upload this video. I have to see what time it is. I have to pick up my brother and drop clothes off to my cousin. And chill with her probably tonight. Yeah. Just be present with her. Just chill with her. So I have a list of stuff that I'm gonna get done before I, go chill with her. Because that's the thing, like, it's not me versus me. It's me and me, even if I have to bribe myself to get all of this shit done, which I usually don't have to anymore, but I know, like, once I get all this shit done, that I can spend more time with her, because all of that stuff will be completed. And let's see, I've already done like half the stuff on my list. And this YouTube channel is a priority because I made it a priority. I wrote the book. I want to connect with people. I want to promote my book, but I want people to see me and want to buy the book based on me, and I don't really know how to explain that. It's a great fucking book. Like, I had tactics for marketing my book that didn't involve me being in the camera, but I also want to give people my experiences because I don't hear anyone talking about it. No one that I've heard. And I know it'll help someone. So even if it's just one person, even if it's you, like, I want to assist any way I can. So it's not just to promote my book, it's also to connect and to help any way I can, to share the things that I've learned. And I'm an old soul, there's a lot I know, and I know that there's a lot of wisdom I can give. So this is my book that I'm proud of, and that's why I had to do I'm a Fractal, because I am very proud of it. But it wasn't just me writing the book. I did receive the idea itself. Like, I received it. I went to the space of not thinking, so I wasn't actively brainstorming, thinking of an idea for my book, right? And as I was writing it, I just allowed it to unfold. Like, I didn't know exactly what it was gonna be, and it's definitely exceeded my expectations. That's why it wasn't just me writing the book. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, stick around and I'll probably explain it at some point. But thank you for making it this far. Feel free to share your experiences. Feel free to drop emojis if you want. Feel free to interact. Whatever you feel called to do. It's gonna rain here soon, so. But thank you for being here today. And thank you for watching.